Welcome back to the SSC, the Sony phone and PC hardware channel. Today we're reviewing the Sony V-Logging kit that allows you to do V-Logging, i.e. video selfies, and you can still see yourself with its special monitor. So let's have a look and check out this, the Sony V-Logging monitor. There's the box, and as you can see, I've opened this many times before and used the product, but it'd be handy to know what you get and how useful it is. So here we go, they've got the open box. We open this up and we've got the actual inner box here. Open this, put this to one side, and we get an inner box. As I said, we've used this before. Okay, so we move along and we show this. Now inside you get a box that's with a bracket here that's covered in crepe paper, and as I said a few times before, I've used this many times and various reviews and projects. So what happens is you get a bracket covered in crepe paper, which I'll unwrap for you now. So if you go like this, as you can see, there's your holder bracket there, okay? A bit further into the camera. This is where it mounts onto your posts, and that's where you can mount various cold shoe devices. Okay, put this to one side, and we just put this crepe paper elsewhere. Okay, now inside the inner box you also get another one, and in this box you get various literature and various bump, which personally can be really put on the website to save the environment, really, because far too much paper. And normally you get it in about 10 different languages. I've just thrown the extras away because I don't need it in other languages or in English. The next thing you get in the box is a USB-C to USB-C cable. Now the problem with this is that it's great, but it's rather short and it's quite stiff, as you can see. So when you hook it up to when you connect it from the output of your USB-C port on your phone to the input on the V-Logging monitor, which I'll show in a minute, it's rather stiff. And also something worth knowing is whatever you do not lose this in any way, shape or form, because a normal USB-C to USB-C cable will not work. Do not lose or damage this in any way, shape or form. Otherwise, it's roughly another £200 to 220 euros to replace. Okay, so we'll put that there. And the last thing is the V-Logging monitor itself. Let's have a look, shall we? Okay, let's put this box here. On the back of the monitor, the V-Logging monitor, you can see another a 1/4" thread. This is for us to actually mount it. Say if you want to mount it onto another tripod or an adapter, that sort of thing, and not clip it to the phone or anything like that. And on this side you have your microphone in. So say if you want, not just for video but for USB-C, sorry, not USB-C, the 3.5mm, you can use that as your headphone sockets as well. I'll put it further into the camera. Okay, you've got your input, this is your USB-C input, which goes from the output of your phone so you can actually monitor yourself. Okay, the next thing is power. Okay, now this power, try charging it from your power delivery power charger. It will not work. However, if you're worried about the screen using too much of your battery life, which it doesn't really, you can actually use a power delivery capable power bank to keep that main battery topped up. Okay, now on the other side is you have your power on, your power on button. We'll start from here. This is where you power on the device, obviously. I just push it further to the camera, and then you have your flip button. What this does It flips the images various orientations depending on how you've got the V-Liogging monitor set up. And then next and the last is the brightness. Now what this does, it dims it to 4 levels or brightens it to 4 levels depending on your outlook. And it's worth noticing that on the brightest setting, it's actually brighter and better to see in direct sunlight than the actual main screen of the phone itself. Odd that, isn't it? But however, it's not touch sensitive, and we'll go over that in the pros and cons of this device later. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing is essential for this device. What we have here is the shooting grip that goes with this. So essentially what you're doing is you've got this button will be for changing the sensors, flipping between the sensors. There to take a photo, you've got your zoom in and out, microphone, to record a movie, and your lock. It's got nice little features where if you click this side switch here, it will orientate this a bit more. Okay, and you can also press this button and it'll change the orientation of this. Okay, now the next thing is to basically, you've got your various lock buttons there, and the good thing about it is the Sony V-Liogging shooting grip will actually turn into a tripod should you need it. Okay, let's set this up now, shall we? So what we do is we'll put this onto here like this. So all you do is you put one end into another and use this twisting knob here like this. Now obviously this is the other side, so you don't want to see this because this is where the V-Liogging monitor goes. So you twist this to the other side like that, and we'll put on the actual V-Liogging monitor itself. So all it does, it just clips on like that magnetically. Can you hear that? And it's quite a strong magnet as well. So if you're running with the V-Liogging monitor, don't feel as though it's going to fall off, because it certainly won't. And then you've got the actual cable which goes there, and then this part here, we'll go further down, this part here connects into the actual phone itself. So both need each other. You can get deals on Amazon for both all at once, or you can pay for them separate like I did. The reason is I got this Sony shooting grip at a Song. So let's move on to how it looks like in the actual use, shall we? Well, as you can see, we've just got we're on to the next part of the review. We can see my ugly mug there, and obviously we've got this screen on the lowest brightness setting. Yes, that's right, the lowest, so the sensor can read what's on the screen properly. Okay, so what we have here is we have a display which you can use for V-Logging. So what happens is we've got it connected to the Sony shooting grip, and let's have a look. So now you see how it works. Obviously we've actually got it covering the telephoto slightly, so if we can move that, which is not an issue, there you go, and that's still magnetically sound and safe to use. And just to demonstrate on how bright this screen goes, let's just up the brightness, shall we? So 1 stage, 2 stage, 3 stage. Now can you see, you can barely see anything on the screen. Okay, that's how bright it is, and is easily visible during the day. It's actually brighter than the actual Sony screen itself. This is connected to a Sony Xperia 1 Mark V. So let's just put this back down to normal brightness. It may be worth noting that this V-Liogging monitor will not work on the 1 Mark III, which I'm using to record right now. Okay, because obviously I've got my 1 Mark V there. So it only works on the Sony Xperia Pro I, the 1 Mark IV and the 1 Mark V. Now I'm assuming it will work on the new Mark VI, but I haven't got one to test that with right now. So I'll leave that to other reviewers such as Grounding Tech, who may purchase this V-Liogging monitor, and he has a 1 Mark VI. But on the Sony fan channel, we're testing it with a Mark V, and as you can see, even the lowest brightness setting, it's quite vibrant. Okay, so we have that, and if we zoom back now, if we can do that while recording, which we can't. We should be able to do. Oh, there we go. We got it now. Okay. So again, you've got your lock button here. You've got your flipping the sensors, the C1 here. You've got your zoom here, zoom backwards and forwards here. You've got your to take photo stills and your movie mode here. Everything else is self-explanatory. Okay. So now you feel on how handy it is. Let's review on the pros and cons of the actual V-Liogging monitor itself. Okay, so now we've had an overview of the actual V-Liogging grip and more importantly, the Sony V-Liogging monitor. Let's kind of like give pros and cons of the V-Liogging monitor. We won't do the Sony shooting grip today, even though it's a necessary part, but we'll leave that for another time. Okay, so let's go over the pros and cons, and let's give you the bad news first. So cons on this side, pros on this side. Okay, let's go. First one, the screen is not touch sensitive, unlike the main one on the actual phone. That means if you need to change your focus settings or adjust anything on the fly, you can't. You've got to switch the actual monitor off, turn it around, and then adjust your settings and go along. As for now, I'm okay on this one because, as you know, with the golden rule, you set your exposure to double your frame rate. So I'm working at 30 frames a second, so I've got this set at 1/60th of the second. Okay, so we receive fluid motion. If you notice that, if you look at my hands, it's not stop stuttering like that. Okay, so that's the first con, right, of the non-touch sensitive screen. The second con is the actual USB-C cable. It's actually quite short and very tight, and it looks like it's putting some amount of strain on the actual USB-C port of the actual phone itself. Third con, and this one is, let's have a look. Let's see if it could be done better. And the third con is the actual USB-C cable. It seems to be a proprietary one, even though it looks like a standard USB-C to USB-C cable. It isn't. It's actually a proprietary one. So if you lose that, you've got no chance of replacing it. Okay, so that's the bad news over and done with. Let's have a look at the good news. Right, great things is it's brilliant for reviews just like this, because you can see yourself and you know what you're doing. Okay, so it's great for reviews. 2, it's great for vlogging outside. So general things, so it's like you've got to, obviously, if you're vlogging on the move rather than doing product presentations like this, you're actually going to have it on auto, or someone look at the screen, which leads to an actual fourth con, which I forgot about. So let's move on to that con. The fourth one is, strangely enough, if you switch on the vlogging screen, it turns off your main screen, so you can't see what you're doing. You see the actual interface on your main phone screen, but it seems to turn off access to the cameras on that, which is strange. Now let's go back to the pros. So when you're actually vlogging and you've got a shoot, the accompanying Sony shooting grip. It's amazing. You know, you can go around. It's very bright in sunlight. At this moment, I've got it on the darkest screen possible. No need for anything light inside. Outside, you turn it on maximum brightness, and it's actually brighter than the Sony screen itself. Amazing. Okay, the third use of it, and it's really good for this sort of thing as well, is say if you want to use your phone like I am using right now, which is the Sony Xperia 1 Mark V. What will happen is if you want to use it in an acting term, therefore your talents can actually see themselves and position themselves accordingly. So you don't actually have to put markers on the floor to where the actor goes. They can actually see what they're doing. The fourth thing is quite an amazing achievement, really. Overall, the quality of the monitor is amazing. Looking at it now, on the bottom left-hand side, at least my left, I can see the actual sound levels going up and down. They're not peaking, which is good. They're just going into yellow. On the right-hand side, I can see the recording length, and it's absolutely fantastic. So it's good for that. And also a fifth thing, I'm trying to think of a fifth thing here, is that it's generally good for reviews like this one. It's good for positioning yourself as well. And it's also good for product showcasing. For example, if I show you this, I'll just turn around. And one of my favourite things to eat is something that a famous British comedy author, comedy writer and actor called Leslie Phillips would love. Like this packet of Ding Dong. Oh my. Right, it's a Filipino food, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. It's one of my favourite. It's garlic, peanuts and all sorts. Yum, yum, yum. And it's called Ding Dong. So you can do your own adverts if you wish. So there you go. So this screen is actually quite amazing, and it's one of the most useful tools ever for a mobile phone, and it simulates the articulated screen on, say, that the Sony ZV-E10, the ZV-1, the ZV-E1, and you get the idea, the 6700, even the FX30. So you can do great adverts. So let's test this out, shall we? In an advert style. Are you hungry? Don't know what to eat? Want to fill your belly? Then get Ding Dong. Leslie Phillips' favourite food. Ding Dong. You know you can't go wrong.
Sony V-Liogging kit and one boring ding-dong advert later.